Hey everyone, and welcome back to Country Music Made Me. Thank you so much for joining us once again. As always, please make sure to like, share, follow, subscribe to us wherever you are listening. Leave a review, a rating, tell your friends, your family, your neighbors to come on over and have a listen. That support is huge. Today we welcome JoJo Mason. Now, he has had a bit of a different journey into music in that he didn't grow up wanting to be a musician. It wasn't until around 2014 when he heard a recording of himself singing Chicken Fried by the Zac Brown Band that things really started to take off. It's been a really interesting journey that has produced a lot of great music. We had a chance to talk to him about the entire journey, plus the influence his dad has had on not only his career, but him as a person. So please enjoy our conversation with JoJo Mason. Tell me about the Calgary Stampede, because I know that was a sort of shake the rust off show and maybe a little nerve-wracking. How was it?
I'm gonna tell you right now. So I got this ritual that I don't intend to do during my shows, but it happens every time where I start pacing back and forth. I start hyperventilating. I start getting super in my own head. And I start to I just need 6 minutes just to be by myself and get all my emotions out. And then once I get on the stage, boy, I'll tell you, man, it was like nothing ever changed. I didn't even miss a beat, and I got my guys with me, and we was all fired up. We had rehearsed a bunch before we came out, and my God, it's nice to know that your boy still got it.
To add to the emotion of that show, you were also presented with the gold album for Better on You. What does that mean?
Dude, I pride myself on being able to sniff things out, you know what I mean? And it takes a lot to get something past me, you know? And they got me. They 100% got. It wasn't on my radar. I had no idea. I didn't think that my manager walking beside me carrying this big old bag was anything. It didn't even occur to me that was a thing. I didn't think anything of it. And I remember, so the way my show was going to, let me tell you this too. The way my show goes to is I do a cover song. I'm gonna wait till you get out to the show, you can see which one it is. But I do a cover song right before I play Better on You. So it's a nice segue. I got all the things I'm about to say and the things that get all the fans hyped up, and I get hyped up and everybody gets hyped up. And all of a sudden I'm about to start saying the things, right? Finish the song, about to start saying the things. And I put the microphone to my face and I look over to my left, and Dallas is sitting right there. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to sing this love song with you, bro. And two, I don't know what, there's nothing else in my set what are you doing here? You know, what my flow is off, man. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Right, my flow is off. Maybe I'm sitting up. So I took a little bit more of a glance to my left, and there's my managers, Jenna and Kelly, and they're standing there, and they got this plaque. And it took me a minute to clue into what it was. And Dallas started talking. I said, huh? What? And then it hit me that this is what it was. And I got my first gold record, man. I started tearing up on stage. And then they asked me to sing the song right after. I got tears in my eyes. Oh my God. It was, man, for me, brother, that show, my first show back, my first gold record, the Stampede, you know, it was probably, you know, and I don't take this it's probably one of the best days of my life, man. And I'm not kidding. For a couple of reasons. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling.
It's all good. It's all good.
But for a couple of reasons, man, because I had my lady there with me. I had my father-in-law with me, so I flew them out. But it was so nice to know that, you know, you didn't get forgotten about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People still came out and people were still singing the words to these songs, and they were still feeding off that energy you was giving them. And I was feeding off the energy that they was giving back. And to know that, you know, that we're still doing okay in this game is something incredible, man. So
And
brother.
you're doing great in this game. And I want to discover how we've made it to this point, because that's what Country Music Made Me is all about, is discovering that journey. And you have a very interesting one because it came later in life that the bug hit you.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about early on,
Okay.
growing up in Regina. What did music mean to you back then? When did you sort of start to get into music, and what did music mean for you back then?
I it's tough because my music taste has always, my entire life has always been so eclectic, right? Like I'm never one to just stick with this genre or rap music or pop music or this. I am a fan of good music. You know what I mean? So my style and everything growing up, especially growing up, was based on the music that I listened to. I listened to all kinds of rap music. I listened to my R&B music. I listened to my Eric Clapton. I listened to Brad Paisley. I listened to Alan Jackson. You know, it's always been like that. My mom used to bump Celine, so I could sing you almost any Celine Dion song you could imagine. We went on road trips. But I also went through my boy band phase and my emo rock phase, and I'm a big music fan. So what it meant to me growing up was just it was a release from stress. It was a relief from life. It was something to and back when we used to buy CDs.
Yep.
If you didn't have the new Nickelback CD, or if you didn't have the new 50 Cent CD when it came out, you don't get to talk with the frat fellas on the playground, So music was everything for me, man. And it was everything for my entire circle, and my mom and my dad too. We still got an old record collection. We got Lionel Richie. We got, man, it's all over the place. So for me, I never really got into music thinking that I could be anything into music until I was, how old was I? I was probably about 24, 25, man. And I've just been, again, up until then, I've just been a fan of good music. That's kind of it, and then I got into it, and I'm an even bigger fan of music.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to know a bit about your dad, because he doesn't show up much on your social media. Your mom is very present, but I saw you posted a picture of your dad, and you kind of mentioned in the post that he would kill you if he knew you posted it. So just tell me a bit about him and how he has influenced your journey.
This, what's so funny. Nobody has ever really asked me about my father. My father is one of the most incredible men, probably the most incredible man I've ever had in my life, for a million different reasons, the things that this guy would instill in me. But he's a different breed of human, is what I like to say. He's a rare breed of human. What to say about my dad? Nobody's ever, sorry, man. I'm a little thrown off. My mom is, listen, the one thing I tell you about my dad is that I've never met anybody that works harder than him. I've never met anybody that loves as hard as he does, and as much as he does, and who tries to instill the values that mean something to him in us. And the majority of you can narrow it down to be a good person, treat everybody with respect, and do things for people without expecting things in return. And so my dad didn't necessarily help shape my music career, but if I could be this much of the man that he is, I think I'll be just fine. And I try to take as much from him as I can. That's so crazy that you asked me about my dad. Nobody's I've done a ton of the interviews, man. Nobody ever asked me about my dad. He's one of my best friends.
That's awesome.
We talk all the time. We, couple days a week. So I go over to the house to see him all the time. We just sit there. We talk sports. We talk football. We talk UFC. He's my best friend. He's my dad.
And what does he think of this journey? Because he really seems like the fact that he doesn't want to be on your social media. He just seems like that guy who's going to go out and work and not ask for anything in return. And
That's who he
so
is.
when he sees you and the path that you have taken, I imagine it's a very different path than he
Yeah.
is used to. And so what does he think about it?
It was funny at first. I don't think he really bought in. And again, why would you? I'm starting super late. I'm starting at 25 years old before I put out my first song. You know, he's a businessman. He went to school. He's graduated at the top of his class, and so that was kind of like, hey, if you're gonna do this, that's great, but just make sure you have a backup plan. Well, Dad, I didn't have a backup plan, so I went all in. So at first, I think he was a little bit weary of it, but he's seen how much I've grown as a man and as a person, given the things that I've been through in this industry so far. And so I'm sure it's just only beginning, but he's seen how I've grown and the man that I've turned into and the things that I've taken and the life lessons that I've taken from him and implemented in my life. And I think he's, I know he's very proud of me. There was a couple of times where I think he was real worried. I was going down a couple of dark paths, as you know, some people do, but he was one of the main reasons that I was able to get out of my dark holes and my dark paths, and he's always been that light for me. So, you know, he shaped me, and I wouldn't be, you know, as kind, and I'm not pumping my own tires by any means, but I wouldn't be as loving as I am. I wouldn't be as hard ass as I am, and I wouldn't be as focused or driven, or I wouldn't have this work ethic instilled in me if it wasn't for him. And he's an incredible man. I don't think he'll ever see this or hear this, but if he does, I hope he does, because God, I don't. He's incredible, man. He's the best.
That's awesome.
Baba Abe.
And you talk about the low times that he has helped you out of. Let's talk about that. I want to talk about hitting rock bottom. What age were you when you went through those struggles where you hit your rock bottom?
I was about 18, maybe a little bit later. I think I was about 18 and 19. It was tough, man. I was playing hockey at the time, and herniated disc in my back, and I just kind of thought that was, you know, that was it. What's the point? I lost myself. That was my identity. I didn't really, again, no backup plan, right? So
right.
I was, you know, smoking 2 packs a day. I was drinking a bottle a day. I was smoking crazy amount of marijuana just to cope, and it wasn't really coping as much as it was just masking, right? And I had this thing in my brain, and I had never received any help. I'd never gone to therapy. I'd never gone to, you know, because in my mind it was a sign of weakness, right? In my mind I had this something was in my mind that made me believe that if I need to ask for help, if I admit, or if I need to ask somebody for help or go talk to somebody, that's admitting defeat. And if I admit defeat, what kind of man am I? Then I don't deserve to be happy. And that was my mentality for so long. And at the time, I was living with my brother and a couple of friends in Victoria. My parents had relocated to Vancouver, and I started to do this, man. I started to do this. I was almost 300 pounds. I put on a ton of weight. I cried every time I look in the mirror. It was a real dark time for me, and thoughts of, you know, again, thoughts of not wanting to be here anymore. It was my brother who called my parents and said, listen, you know, I can't help him. I need you guys to come help him. And so my parents came, bust down the door, and kind of both grabbed me by the ears and take me off to Vancouver, where they was living. And my dad said, all right, here's the deal. Sat me down, looked me straight in the face, said, as a man, this is what I'm going to tell you. If you're going to live in my house, There's no drinking. There's no smoking. You're going to clean yourself up, and we're going to get through this together. I will always support you. I'll always be there for you. If you need me, I'm here. I'm here for you. But you need to follow these guidelines. If you don't, we're going to have to reassess. And so it was that hard love that at the time I needed, right? I was willing to accept it at that time. And finally, I gave in to the hand that was reaching out to help. And he was that hand. I usually give my mother the credit and stuff because, you know, she was a big influence in that too. And I just know how private my dad is, but I'll tell you, man, he was the thought of letting him down, the thought of disappointing him, it made me completely go from everyday depression, crying every day, to wanting to be better, to showing him that, you know, I can do it. I accept the help. I can do it. And that was, I cannot, I wish I could talk to you all day about what an amazing man he is. I really do. I really, really do. He's been through crazy things that I've been finding out all kinds of things about him in his past and his history and his life, and the things that he's been through is just, again, like I said, if I could be this much of the man that he is, I think this world would be a great place, you know.
And
he's amazing.
When you turned things around, what was the process like? Because I think a lot of people would look at this and be like, oh, your parents came and they said, clean up. So you cleaned up. But how long did it take? How long was the process to get to not sunny days, but just a little brighter days?
It was months and months and months. For the first 3 weeks, I think I slept maybe an hour a night. I was always tired. I couldn't sleep. I had the shakes. It was a lot of it was the detox from the alcohol, from the drugs, from the cigarettes, and you know, every day was really, really hard. Every day was a struggle. I had to find these self-help tapes almost, you know, on YouTube that I had to replay about 7-8 times a day before I could get out of my dark time. And yeah, they you know, my mom and dad came and saved the day, but you know, it wasn't easy. I still found myself trying to sneak out the house and, you know, do this and do that. Oh no, gotta go. Okay, stop. You know, catch myself. And you know, again, he gave me the tools, but if I'm not willing to put in the work, then where are we, right? Who knows if I'm still here?
Yeah, so, yeah, for sure.
Took a long time to get there, man, but we got here, you know, we here.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted to talk about 2014. Now, I've heard you talk about, I don't know if it was 2014 or 2013, but the moment where a love of music started to develop for you. I heard you talk about Christmas party over a bottle of moonshine.
Yeah.
Was that one of the moments?
That wasn't one of the moments where I fell in love. That was one of the moments where I thought, this may, you know, why not try something? Why not try something new? Put yourself out there. You know, I was at the point where I was starting to feel better about myself. I was starting to, you know, I was starting to come into my own. I was starting to feel okay, yet I still felt like I had no direction and I had no, you know, I didn't want to be a bartender for the rest of my life. I knew, and I felt like I was supposed to do more than that. You know,
right.
I really, really wanted to do, and I felt like I was supposed to do more than that. And so when I got invited to this Christmas party, it was just an opportunity that was like, all right, sure, let's try it out. But I'll tell you, man, it was when I got that first recording back. So the guy that I met at this party sent me this karaoke website, said, hey man, pick any song, any genre you want. And he sent me the link. I clicked Zach Brown, Chicken Fried, right? That's my jam. So I love to sing it. I love it was fun. I mean, I never sang to anybody but myself, so I was nervous as hell. But I remember going to his house and singing the song, and a couple of days later he had comped all the vocals and sent it back to me. And I was listening to it and I was like, oh my God, like that doesn't suck. Wow. All right. Oh man, this could be a thing. And so we got it. We recorded another one, and then we recorded another one, and then we recorded another one. And I started learning on how the process of the songs were built. And then I started diving into it. And man, that it was about 2014. Yeah, like 2014 when my love music really just elevated. I think right now I understand music. I feel like my mind goes to places where, you know, I can anticipate where the notes are gonna go in some songs, and how some lyrics are gonna go. And I've even started doing some writing myself. And man, I'm not the worst. That's good news, you know.
And so before that, before you sat down and sang Chicken Fried, did you know you had a voice? Like you kind of mentioned, you sort of sang to yourself, but was there ever a time before that where you thought, I'm going to go to karaoke at the bar and sing or anything like that?
I sang karaoke one time at my bar because I worked there, right? And I'm like, these guys want to get served, they better not boo me. You know what I'm saying? I control the booze. I control how much food y'all getting. So you better not boo me or be mean to me if I get up there. Man, I got up there, and I remember on the way to work, I was okay, Tuesday, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do a karaoke song. It's gonna be great. I practiced all week, man. I was getting prepped for it, getting ready for it in my car. And I quit halfway. I missed some notes. I started sweating profusely. I got the pancakes under my arms, and I quit halfway through the song. I went outside. I said, I need 5 minutes to wait. I quit. I did not have a clue what I was thinking. And it wasn't, I honestly, no, I thought I was, you know, just not the worst. I knew I wasn't the worst. I knew I wasn't good, but I knew I just wasn't the worst. And that was kind of it for me, man. I until I started doing it more and hearing myself back, I was like, gosh, okay, you know, maybe this is something that could happen, right? Maybe this is something that could be cool. I don't know.
Wow. And so through 2014, you worked with Dan, and I saw that Madeline Marlowe was someone who seemed to be very influential in those early days. So what was 2014 like in working with them and just coming to that realization that all of a sudden you wanted a career in music?
I hold Madeline in very high regards. She is one of the most incredible people, but she's also one of the most incredible talents that I've ever seen. And I just tried to you know be like her in so many ways. Her work ethic was incredible. She wrote songs all the time. She practiced her vocals. She did lessons. She did this. She did that. She practiced this, practiced that, and I was just blown away. So to have somebody, and she's younger than me too, which is crazy, but to have somebody like her that has all of the things, it was fantastic. I got a chance to see a career being formed and being built in real time, and it was her hard work that did it. And that's one thing that I really took from her was that. Also, we used to work at Cactus Club together, and she got me a job there. So I'll never forget, B, let me tell you, I'll never forget. She sat me down and said, I said, if there's any advice you could give me, like, help me, help a brother out. And she sat me down and said, JoJo, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I said, ooh, okay. She said, I'm gonna tell you one thing. The fans and the people listening to your music and listening to your interviews and following you, they will be the first ones to call you out if you try to be something you're not. I was like, okay. And that's always stuck with me. I always tell that story. And since then, I have been unapologetically myself in every single way, or at least I try to be anyways, unapologetically myself. And there's only one way to be. And I just hope that if I was going to do that and be who I want to be and be who I think I am and who I feel I am, I was just hoping people accepted me. And be so far so good. You know?
That's really interesting because, yeah, going into a career, a lot of musicians have had their entire lives of wanting to be a musician to sort of develop who they are and find out who they are as a musician. But for you coming in so late, it'd be very easy to come in and try and be like everybody else so that you can find success. It must have been very scary to come in and realize you sort of had to open yourself up and give yourself over to the fans.
The thing, it for me, it wasn't as easy as you might, it wasn't as hard as you might think. I grew up very like open, right? I don't hide anything. I don't have, skeletons in my, a ton of skeletons in my closet. I'm a very like, I don't know, very open person. If you ask me anything about me, I'll tell you. I'm not scared to hide anything, but I've always been like that. So for me, coming into something like this, it was a smooth transition. People ask me questions, and it was easy for me. I love to open up, and I love to make people feel like we are friends, and that's what my whole game has always been, is I just want to make as many friends as I can, and impact as many lives as I can. And whatever capacity that may be is how I want to be, man. That's my goals in life, and that's who I am. So the transition to opening myself up and being me, it wasn't really that hard. And I've always, you could call me anything. You could say anything to me. If you don't like me, that's fine. I'm okay. I got my team with me, so it's all good for me, always.
And growing up with so many musical influences and influenced by so many genres, when it came time to sort of start chasing this career of being a musician, what was it about country music that drew you into it rather than going another direction?
Storytelling, the family vibes. I've never heard. I've watched interviews. I watched, the Country Music Awards, the CCMAs, the British Columbia Music Awards. Like the whole, everybody is all in it for each other. As competitive as it is, the support is incredible. The love is incredible. And that was one of the things that really drew me to it. I'll tell you, my first trip down to Nashville was 2015, early 2015.
April 2015.
April, thank you. That was my very first trip. And I got a chance to go see some decorated writers in one of those writers circles, one of those writers rounds. So I had these guys all sitting up in front of me, and I'm sitting there. There's tons of people in the crowd, and I'm listening to this one guy speak, and he said, before he sang one of his Keith Urban cuts that he, number one hits that he had written for Keith Urban or something like that, he was saying, and I always tell this story, is because it meant so much to me, was he sat up on the stage and he said, the thing I love about country music, and the thing I will always love about country music, is that we are all in it for each other. It's very competitive, yes, but my successes, and he points to the guy next to him, are his successes, because we're friends and we're in the same circle. And if I get an opportunity, I'm going to bring everybody with me. And I want, he said, everybody is, how did he say? He said, as competitive as it is, we're all in it for each other. And that really struck me, man, was like, the competition is always fierce in everything that you do. It has to be. But there's always food on the table for everybody to eat. There's always room at the table for everybody to sit down. And that's something that I really gravitated towards. It really, really solidified my love for the genre and for country music just as a whole,
And that's what I was going to ask you about the CCMAs, because with those, you went as a fan in 2015.
Yeah.
You took part in 2016.
That's
you
right.
were nominated and presented in 2017.
That's
and
right.
You performed in 2020.
That's
and
right.
So what does that event mean in just showing you that you are a part of that community and giving you those positive vibes?
It means that we're doing something right. You know, it means that the work that we've put in and that I've put in is actually paying off. It means that the things that we are doing is working. In every way, right? Like I wouldn't be nominated if the music wasn't good. I wouldn't be getting opportunities if I was an asshole. You know what I mean? So the things that I want to be and the things that I want to accomplish in this industry is slowly starting to happen. But also for me, it's really nice to know that I found something that I really, really love, and that it's being noticed and appreciated. And again, I don't need a ton of validation, but it's nice to see once in a while that the fruits of our labor is coming to fruition and starting to pay off. So it just means that we're doing something right. And I'm so proud of myself and the man that I'm turning into, and my team at 604, and my PR team that still pumps my tires in Red Umbrella, and my managers, Jenna and Kelly. Like, the team that I have is absolutely incredible, and it's taken a long time for us to build what we have, but I'm very, very proud, man. And I know that it's only going to keep getting bigger and better. I see it every day. Take 10 minutes every single day, and I visualize where we're going. And I can't wait to go there with my team to keep ticking things off my bucket list, man. And it's pretty incredible, man. The CCMAs it's a magical place, I'll tell you.
And with that bucket list, now you had success right off the start. Your first 3 singles went top 10 on Canadian radio. Now, when you have that much success right off the start, do you is it a trap almost where all of a sudden you're now thinking, well, I've had that success, so I should have that success now moving forward on
Yeah.
everything I do?
It's easy to get lost in that, right? It's easy to get lost in that. And I did. I'm not going to lie to you. I absolutely did. It started out too easy, but me knowing who I am and how I was raised and knowing who my parents are, I had this in my mind that like was about to go down. And it did. And it did, right? When you're up here and you feel like you're on top of the world, it takes a lot to stay there. And it's inevitable that eventually you're going to have to start coming back down. And I wouldn't appreciate where I'm at now if it hadn't been for those heartbreaks on the way down, and there were a lot of them. There were quite a few of them. And it started out too easy. And I knew something, something had to give, and it did. But I wouldn't change anything. You know what I mean? I wouldn't trade anything that I've been through for the world, because it made me appreciate where I'm going. It made me realize how hard I have to work, the people I have to trust, the amount of time and effort that goes into this. And I wouldn't have realized that if I hadn't have gone through that heartbreak. I always say, man, you never waste a tragedy. And so I didn't. We built this right back up to where we are now, and it's hot for me anyways. I feel it's hotter than ever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned it when you hit rock bottom, it was because hockey ended and your identity was basically shattered. Now, as a musician now, of course, that's how everyone knows you. But is it important not personally to tie yourself into that, just in case, on the off chance this goes away tomorrow, that you don't say, well, what am I now? If I'm not a musician, then what am I? Do you have to make sure you don't get mixed up in that again?
No, I don't. I'm very confident in the man that I am. And like I said, the things that I've been through, have shaped in me and prepared me for anything and everything. And again, man, one of the things I realized when I was in my dark days was you can't go through life by yourself. You can't do it alone. And so what I have done is I've created my very, very tight-knit circle and my support system around me. So if by chance it does go away tomorrow, I'm going to be just fine. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm going to do, but there's no questions that, I'm a hustler, man. That's what my daddy taught me. I'll never quit working. I'm working two jobs on the side anyways. You know what I mean? And I'm a hustler, man, and that's what it is. So if it goes away tomorrow, your boy's gonna be just fine. However, it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
So we ain't need to
exactly.
prepare for that. We don't need to prepare for that.
No, I don't need to worry about that. Now you have the new single. How important was it to hit the ground hard with a new single, a positive, upbeat song that was gonna get you moving in the right direction?
What was nice about this one was that it really, God, I wish I could read this text message to you. But my buddy Brody in Winnipeg sent me a really nice note. It was just like, man, it's nice to hear JoJo again, and find JoJo's sound again. And it was really nice to hear that, man. So for me, I'm a very positive guy. I like to live my life like that for the most part, and I'm all about good vibes and giving people hugs, and bringing people into my living room when they talk to me. You know what I'm saying? That's how I want everybody in every interaction that I have. So to come out the gate the way that we did with this song, that's how I feel. I feel like you listen to it. I feel like I'm bringing you into who I am a little bit, and all good vibes, man. All good vibes, all love, and big old hugs. That's it.
And now that things are opening up a little bit, there's outdoor shows happening. So obviously you want to get on stage as much as possible. But are you also in the works of new music and possibly a new EP coming later this year or next year?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we are, man. We've got some songs recorded, and again, the as a musician and taking this path now, one of the things that I always want to continue to do is evolve as an artist, evolve as a musician, right? And I feel like with these songs that we got coming out, I really think that we captured that. I think we took all of our old stuff that we have done and taken this one to the next level. And I didn't think it was possible, because I fell in love with all the songs that we have done in our last EP, me and Scotty Chops, and I fell in love with all of that. And I keep saying, man, like, I can't believe we topped it, So yes, we got new music in the works. It's all kinds of cool. Again, man, I just hope y'all enjoy it. It's coming soon. I can't tell you when, but it's coming.
That's awesome. Well, we will look forward to it. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Dude, it's my pleasure, man. Anytime you need me, you holler at your boy.
Thank you once again so much for listening, and thank you to JoJo for stopping by and sharing his story. Be sure to check out his new single, Broken Umbrella, wherever you stream your music, and keep your eye out for more new music coming either later this year or hopefully early next year. Please also be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe to us wherever you are listening. Leave a review, a rating, tell your friends, your family, your neighbors to come on by and have a listen. That support is huge. Thanks once again for listening, and we'll see you next time on Country Music Made Me.